Here we go, our daily fuel. We are going through the New Testament in a year, and we dropped off in chapter 13, and there were a few things we wanted to say in 13, so we're going to try to get into that, and then move to chapter 14 of Mark. A lot of stuff here. In chapter 13, Jesus had been talking about the end of the world, the end of the age, his return, and then the important thing in chapter 13, verse 32, Jesus says, "But about the day and the hour no one knows." Write that down, put it in your head, don't forget it, say it 1,000 times. About the day and the hour no one knows. It's amazing the number of people that have known through the ages, but we're still here, so they were wrong. Not even the angels in heaven know, nor the Son. You know, this is known as in Philippians, where it talks about Jesus emptied himself. He emptied himself of certain things, and at least at this particular point in time and in his ministry, he divested himself of knowing the day and the hour that the Lord would return, because he knows when it is now. But only the Father. So be on your guard and be alert. Be on your guard and be alert. It's like a man going away. He leaves his house and he puts his servants in charge, and each one of their assigned task. And he tells this one, do this, and he tells this one the door to watch. Therefore, keep watch, because you don't know when the owner of the house will come back. So he's talking about stewardship, leaving people with your summer home, and maybe you live there all summer, and then you leave it with some stewards over the school year, and they take care of it. Well, they have no idea when you're coming back, so they better not be partying in there and messing up the house and breaking stuff, because you don't know when the owner of the house is coming back. You don't know when Jesus is coming back. You don't know if it'll be in the evening. You don't know if it'll be midnight. You don't know if it'll be when the rooster crows. You don't know if it'll be at dawn. If he comes suddenly, don't let him find you sleeping. What I say to everyone, I say to you, watch. So always be waiting for the coming of the Lord. It could be any moment. Now, this is the last week in the life and the ministry of Jesus. And he's getting ready to die, and he knows he's getting ready to die. So if you're getting ready to die, and you know you're getting ready to die, and if this is the last day of the world, and you know it, what would you be doing? What would you be doing? Watch what Jesus is doing. Now at the Passover on the unleavened bread, we're only 2 days away. Jesus is going to die in 2 days. And the chief priests and the teachers of the law were scheming to arrest him secretly and kill him. But not during the festival, they said, or people might riot. Well, it's going to be during the festival, because Jesus is the Passover, and that's when it's going to happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, so while he was in Bethany, he was reclining at the table, in the home of Simon the leper. Wait a minute. Jesus is going to die in 2 days. So what's he doing? Sitting around the table with friends eating. Wow. I love that. Be ready. Jesus said, be ready and watch. So if I am ready and I am watching, then at any time he could come. And what am I supposed to be doing? I'm supposed to be loving God and loving people and loving life. And if it's 2 days away from my death, if it's 2 days away from the last day of the world, the last night of the world, what should I be doing? I don't know. Reclining at the table with friends and people that you love and family. While he was reclining at the table in the home of Simon the leper, a woman came with this alabaster jar, expensive perfume, pure nard. She broke it and she poured it on him, and she did it as an act of worship. And Jesus is there relaxing at the table, receiving worship. Verse 12, on the first day of the festival of the unleavened bread, when it was customary to sacrifice the Passover lamb, Jesus said to his disciples, Jesus' disciples asked him, where do you want us to go and make preparations for the Passover? And Jesus said, well, Go into the city and you'll see a man carrying a jar, and he'll meet you and follow him. How would they know a man carrying a jar? Because usually the women would carry the jars. Usually the women would carry the water. So this might have been an easy one, seeing the guy. Say to the owner of the house when he enters, the teacher asks, where's my guest room, that I might eat the Passover with my disciples? And he'll show you a large room, all furnished and ready, to make preparations for me there. So the disciples left. They went into the city. They found things just like Jesus told them. So they prepared the Passover. Okay? Jesus is going to die. When evening came, Jesus arrived with the 12. While they were reclining around the table eating, wait a minute, isn't that what we just read in verse 3? What is he doing? He's going to die. He's going to go to the cross. This is, for him, the last night of the world. What is he going to do? He's going to sit around the table and recline with his friends. Talk about life, talk about love, talk about God. Talk about worship. They're reclining at the table. And of course, this is when Judas, betrays him. Verse 26, it says, when they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. They sang a hymn. So last night of the world, what are you going to do? I don't know. Recline around the table with the family, eat, enjoy each other, love each other, worship God. Verse 18, what were they doing reclining around the table? Then what did they do? Then they sung a hymn, sang a worship song. And of course, Peter, at this point, Jesus predicts his denial. It goes to the Garden of Gethsemane. It means the oil press. He's going out to the place where he's going to be pressed. Verse 32, he went to a place called Gethsemane. And Jesus said to his disciples, sit here while I pray. And he took Peter and James and John along with him, the trio. And he began to be deeply distressed and troubled. Jesus is distressed and troubled. He said, my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. He said to them, stay here and keep watch. Pray. Going a little further, he fell to the ground and he prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. What hour? The hour of his death, the hour of the crucifixion. Jesus is saying, if this can pass, let it pass. It didn't pass. Why didn't it pass? Because there was only one way to work our reconciliation. There was only one way to work our salvation. There was only one way to bring us back to God. There was only one way to bridge the cross of Jesus Christ. No other way. It's not going to pass. He's going to the cross. And he said, Abba, Father. We say that's like daddy, the colloquialism for, how would you say it? Papa, whatever it is you might say. Abba, Father, he said, everything is possible for you. Take this cup from me, yet not what I will, but what thy will. He doesn't, who would want to go? Jesus is 100% God. He's 100% human. What human would want to have all of this happen to him? But there's no other way. There's no other way for us to be reconciled to God except the death of Jesus Christ. He returned and his disciples, he found him sleeping, and he said, hey, Simon, what, are you asleep? Couldn't you watch for like an hour? Watch and pray that you won't fall into temptation, because the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Once more, he prayed the same thing. He goes back again. If this cannot happen, if there's another way to do it, if there's another way to reconcile the world to God, let's do it. No other way. When he came back again, he found them sleeping because their eyes were heavy, and they didn't know what to say to him. Returning a third time, he said, are you still sleeping and resting? It's enough. The hour has come. Look, he said, the Son of Man is delivered into the hands of the sinners. Rise, let's go. Here comes my betrayer. And right at that, Judas betrayed him with a kiss. Jesus goes before the Sanhedrin, false trial. They bake up all these charges against him, keep him up all night long trying to find charges, and they can't find any charges. And what's going to happen next is Peter's going to disown Jesus. He's, watching as this is happening. And we'll get to chapter 15, and they'll bring him before Pontius Pilate because they have no power to kill him. They want Pilate to kill him. So, Lord, thank you so much that you died for us on the cross, and And thank you for so much the lesson that you show us, Lord. What should we be doing? We should have already been watching. We should already know that nobody knows the day, the hour, that you can come back at any time, that we should be good stewards. We should be taking care of the things that you've given to us. And we should be enjoying the people around us. So may you enjoy the people around you. May you have a wonderful life and see the blessings that God has bestowed upon you. And may we thank Jesus Christ for the indescribable gift of his Son on Calvary, the cross, dying for us to reconcile us to God. You are loved, you are loved, you are loved, and nothing can change that. Hey, bless you guys. We'll continue on.